Hi everyone, welcome to this video where we will learn about the inventory and patch management features of AWS Systems Manager. So before we begin with this today's video, let me give a quick introduction about myself. My name is Aishwarya Sood and I am working as a lead coach in the AWS domain at Ethnos. I have more than 2 years of experience in the training, delivery and development, and I am 3x AWS certified, also an Amazon authorized instructor and AWS Academy accredited educator. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. The profile name is given here, and also you can scan this QR code to directly view my profile. So now let's go ahead with today's video and let me tell you about what we are gonna cover in today's video. So we will discuss a little bit about the need of Systems Manager and what benefits does it give to us and what are the capabilities that it provides. And the main focus in this video will stay on two main capabilities of Systems Manager, that is inventory and patch management, and we will discuss a few use cases of it, and we will also see how to work with inventory and patch manager on AWS console. So the first question that I want to ask you for before we begin to other topics for today's video, let's say you have hundreds of EC2 instances that you need to manage. So how do you apply any kind of patches and update the software that is installed on them? Are you supposed to remotely log into each instance and run the commands for updating by yourself all the things manually? How will you revert a change if something goes wrong? And what if you have hundreds or even thousands of servers that run many different applications? How will you take care of the updating of everything on all of them? Are you gonna do that manually? Of course not. Traditional tools that are already there can help with these scenarios, but a ready to use solution would be more convenient, and the automated solution is what I am talking about. And the solution that we have here, what we are talking about is AWS Systems Manager. AWS Systems Manager, which was formerly known as SSM. So if you know what SSM is, that same thing is Systems Manager now. And this is nothing but an AWS service that you can use to view and control your infrastructure on AWS and even outside of AWS. Using the Systems Manager console, you can do a lot of things, like you can view the operational data from multiple AWS services and automate a lot of operational tasks across your AWS resources. It basically helps you maintain the security and compliance by scanning your managed nodes. So what basically are the managed nodes that I'm talking about? It is nothing but a machine that is configured for Systems Manager. The machines that are basically managed by the Systems Manager. Systems Manager usually supports EC2 instances, edge devices, on-premises servers, and virtual machines, and also it supports Windows servers, Mac operating system, and multiple distributions of Linux as well. For your, this is the main point now, like for your EC2 instances, edge devices, on-premises servers, and all the things that are supported by Systems Manager that I just told you, for them to be managed and configured by the Systems Manager, AWS Systems Manager agent, that is also known as SSM agent, is an Amazon software that needs to run on these resources. So for all those things that you want to be managed and updated by this, you need to first install the SSM agent. What does this agent do is basically it processes a request from the Systems Manager service in the AWS cloud and then runs them as specified in the request. Also, there's a hub for automation that is present in the Systems Manager, which is nothing but a capability of it that simplifies the common maintenance, deployment, and remediation tasks for AWS services like EC2, that is Amazon EC2, Amazon RDS, Amazon Redshift, and Amazon S3, and many more than that. So let's have a look at how does it work exactly. First of all, as we have learned about Systems Manager, it helps you to manage and operate your resources at scale. Okay, if the resources are in cloud and even if they are outside AWS. Then what you do, you create groups of resources across different services of AWS or applications or different layers of the application stack, okay, which you want to be managed, configured and updated by the systems manager. Once they are grouped depending on your different use cases and requirements, you visualize the data from it. Then you view the aggregated operational data by the resource group. Whatever you have grouped the resources into multiple groups that are there, you visualize the data from that. And once you have got the data out of all your resources, then you take the action. How you take the action? You respond to the insights and automate the operational actions across the resource groups. Like these were the resource from which you wanted to visualize data. Once you visualize, then you take the action based on what data you have visualized. Now, how you take the action? For that, you have different capabilities of Systems Manager, which are majorly categorized into these things: operations management, application management, change management, and node management, under which different capabilities of Systems Manager come up. So before we move towards discussing what are all the capabilities that are available in Systems Manager, let me tell you that how do you group the resources here. Basically with the Systems Manager, you can associate AWS resources by assigning the resource tags. Okay, just the basic key value pairs that we assign for better filtering and management. Then you can view the operational data for these resources as a resource group. Okay, now moving further towards the capabilities of Systems Manager, it is comprised of individual capabilities which are grouped into these categories: operations management, application management, change management, node management, and the shared resources. So in this video, we will be learning the inventory and patch management of this node management category, or you can say the node management group of the Systems Manager. So we have already learned in the previous two slides about what is a node and resource groups. So make sure that you are clear with this before going forward, because this is what I'll be speaking multiple times. So apart from this, like inventory and patch management is what we are going to discuss in deep today. But apart from this, you can see these all capabilities are available: parameters tool, application manager, ops center, then personal health dashboard, documents, automation. Many things are there. You can explore more about all of them. But for now, let's begin with the topic for today itself. So here's one example before we go towards discussing the patch management and inventory features of Systems Manager. Let's have a look at how the Systems Manager is working over here. So in this particular figure, you can see the orchestration on some Windows and Linux servers across multiple hosting platforms and AWS regions using AWS Systems Manager. Okay, all of these instances and servers are being managed by Systems Manager. They all have the SSM agent installed within them, and you can see these three capabilities of it are mentioned. Run command is there, then parameter store is working over there, which usually is used to it is used for storing the secret information. Like you can store the passwords which you should not write openly in the code. Instead, you can keep it in the parameter store. Then you have run command here for remotely managing and configuring your servers. Then you have documents over here. Similarly, multiple capabilities can be incorporated here for different requirements. Now talking about patch management here, let's discuss about it. So basically, before we discuss about patch management, let me tell you that what are patches. They are nothing but the software and operating system updates that address the security vulnerabilities within a program or a product, any sort of updates that are available. And patches are a part of essential preventive maintenance necessary to keep the machines up to date, stable and safe from any malware and other threats. And what can be better than having an option to automate this patch management? We know that it is necessary. And what if we have a solution for automation of this? That would be best. So Patch Manager, which is another amazing capability of AWS Systems Manager, automates the process of patching managed nodes with both security related and other types of updates. By default, Patch Manager doesn't install all the available patches, but rather a smaller set of patches that are focused on the security. You can use Patch Manager to apply the patches for both operating systems and the applications. And you can scan instances to see only a report of missing patches, or you can scan and automatically install all the missing patches. It enables you to apply the missing patches individually or to a patch group. So I will show you in the demo as well this particular thing. Okay, that only scan, you just want to scan only that what updates are missing, or you want to scan plus install them as well. Then you can patch the fleets of Amazon EC2 instances, edge devices, or your on-premises servers and the virtual machines by the operating system type as well. And for security patches, Patch Manager uses something known as patch baselines that basically includes the rules for auto approving patches within days of their release, as well as a list of approved and the rejected patches. So more about it we will discuss in the upcoming slide and in the demo as well. So before we go to the demo of Patch Manager, that how does it work, let's understand the basic steps that are involved in the patching process. So first of all, the step 1 is to define a default patch baseline. First of all, you define this, and there are predefined patch baselines for each of the operating systems that are supported by the Patch Manager. Then you can use this patch baselines as they are currently configured, or you can even customize them. Okay, you can use a default patch baseline, or you can create a custom patch baseline to use it. Okay, and custom patch baselines, what they are, like how they are different from this is like you just get greater control over which patches are approved or rejected for your environment. So patch baselines can depend on the operating system, which has its own default patch baseline. The next step after you have decided what patch baseline you want to use, next will be to create the patch groups. So this defines the groups of resources which acts as a target for patching the tasks. For all the patching tasks that will be happening. Okay, like on which particular managed nodes or the servers you want to apply the patches. Then you create a maintenance window, or you can implement the patches immediately. The maintenance window, if you define, it will define a schedule, duration, targets and the tasks. It works as a main coordinator for the whole patching process. But if you don't want to specify a specific schedule, you can just skip this and implement the patches immediately. Okay, and the next step will be to execute the patching finally. So at this step we execute the patching, which is done with the help of run command of Systems Manager. That was another capability available. This process orchestrates the whole patching process with the defined target. After this, what you can do is you can do a quick compliance check. Once the patches are executed, target groups are checked for any kind of compliance issues if there are any, and this is basically managed by the AWS Systems Manager inventory feature. So I'll show you this all is available in the console once we see the demo of it. So now what we will do is we will quickly go ahead to the AWS console and see how this patching process works. First of all, what we need to do is the thing that we will be doing, we will create a few EC2 instances, 5 or 6, and then we will configure the patch manager on the Systems Manager, which will automate the process of applying the patches onto our EC2 instances. So to make this interaction happen, to let the Systems Manager and EC2 interact, we have to first give an appropriate IAM role to our EC2 instances that we will be creating. So let's create the IAM role for the same purpose. We will go to the roles, and here we will create a new role. Okay, the service that we need to select is EC2, and then click on next. So we will apply the policy on this role, that is a managed policy itself. Let me type it like Amazon SSM managed. We might find, yeah, this one is the policy that we need to give. You can read what is it doing. The policy for EC2 role, let me copy and paste it just to show you. This policy for EC2 role to enable the AWS Systems Manager service core functionality. So this is what we need to give to our EC2 instances so that they can be managed by the Systems Manager. It includes all the relevant permissions. So this is what we need to select. Let me show you what are the permissions included in this. You can have a look here. Okay, so all these we need, and we will select and go ahead. Next, let's give this a name, EC2 for SSM. That seems okay. And then we will just review and create the role. So the role is getting created. Meanwhile, let me go back to the EC2 console, and we will create the EC2 instances that I was talking about. So we will quickly go to the EC2 instances and we'll launch 4 or 5 instances, let's see. Okay, so let me specify the number of instances. I need 4, let's say, and name I want to give them as SSM server. Okay, that will be okay. And then Linux to MI, I'll go ahead with that only. No specific things to be changed. Okay, T2 micro is also okay. Keeper, I don't need it because I'll not be logging in into them to apply any patches or something. They will be directly managed with the help of Systems Manager, so I don't need to log in. And then security group, let it create with the whatever like SSH traffic it is creating. That's okay because I don't need anything specific for that. Advanced details, to select the IAM role. Okay, so I don't need to change anything else from here. I will just change the IAM role I will give. So we created this EC2 for, let me find our role, EC2 for SSM. So this is what all these EC2s that we are creating should be getting. Then click on launch instance. So all these EC2s are being launched, and once it is done, we will see, view all the instances. So you can see they are right now in the pending state. We will keep refreshing to see unless and until they are in running state. And let's close, and meanwhile, in the meanwhile, let's go back to the Systems Manager. So they are also, you can see 1 instance is already running, 3 are running now, and 4th is in pending state. So we will go to the Systems Manager now, and we'll check if these instances are now being managed by the Systems Manager or not. So this is how the Systems Manager console looks like. Okay, they have mentioned a few things here. You can read about it. Basically, you can go for a quick setup, or you can select a specific capability from the left navigation pane under a specific category like operations management, application management or something. Since we are going to talk about inventory and the patch management, they come under the node management. So first of all, I will show you Fleet Manager, under which we will be able to see our EC2 instances if they are being managed by the Systems Manager. Yes, they are. So you can see all of these 4 instances that I just launched, they are now being managed by the Systems Manager because we have given the appropriate permissions. Now what we will do is we will go to the Patch Manager capability of it. So let's wait for it to load. So you can see 3 options are mentioned here. Patch now, if you quickly want to patch on all the instances just now. Configure patching if you want to specify a few more details regarding the schedule or a maintenance window. And if you want to just to view the patch baselines that are all the default and the predefined ones and don't want to do anything, then you can click on this option. How it works, so you can see the same steps that we have just discussed are mentioned here. We have to use a patch baseline, then we create a patch group, that is optional only, but anyway we can create that. Then we automate the patching by using schedules or maintenance windows, or we can just quickly patch immediately when we are doing it. Then we can monitor the patch status to ensure any sort of compliance if it is there. Okay, so we will go ahead and we will say patch now. Okay, let's see what we all have it here. Okay, you can see the basic configuration here is what is the patching operation that you want. So you remember I was telling like we can scan only. Okay, if we just want to see that what all patches are missing, we just want a report of it, or we can say scan and install. So what it will do is basically it will scan what are all the missing patches and then it will install them also. And do you want reboot if needed for any of the EC2 instances, or you don't want any reboot? And if you want to reboot but you want it to be happening on a specific time, then you can schedule this, you can select this option. But I'll select the first one only. I am okay with any sort of reboot if needed. So then what instances to patch? You want to patch all the instances, or you want to patch only the target that you specify manually? So let's have a look here. If you select this option, patch only the targets that I specify, you get these options. Specify any instance tag. So if you have tagged your EC2 instances, you can select here based on the tags. Choose instances manually, then you get a list that which instances you want to include into the patching. Choose a resource group. If you have created a patch group or a resource group, then you can select that particular resource group, that on this particular group the patches should be applied. So right now we are selecting them manually. I will show you the group as well. Okay, then next thing is, do you want to log what is happening here, or do you do not want to store any logs? If you want to store any logs in the S3 bucket, then you can select a S3 bucket from the list that will be existing in your account. Okay, but if you do not want, then you can select this option, do not store logs. So it will not store anything. Then you can click on patch now. So the patching will start. Okay, patching is being executed. Okay, so let it load everything. And in the meanwhile, let's open this one and I'll show you a few more things. So here we are just getting the option for configure patching, but right now we are not doing it. Let's wait for it and first see what is the progress on this. You can see the patch process is being run, and if I click on this execution ID, what are we getting here? It will lead us towards the run command. Okay, so it is saying status like 2 are pending and 2 are successfully patched, and let me check it. Okay, so it has taken us to the state manager. Okay, so state manager, because of this association of this patching that we have just created, because we clicked on patch now, so this has associated that patching process to our EC2s. That is the association we have got. If I want to check the run command, okay, like what is the status, what is the output, then I can click here, command history. Okay, you can see 4 of my targets have got patched. Okay, all of these 4 instances, these are the ones that I created just today. Okay, all of them are patched. If you want to see the command description, you can see here what were the steps, then all the parameters here. Okay, and apart from this, let us click on any specific EC2 instance to view some more details. Okay, you can see there are 3 things written over here: command description and status, step 1, step 2 and step 3. So this is how they are different from each other. Step name, you can see patch Windows, this is patch Linux, this is patch Mac OS. So whatever operating system it finds, it will run that particular step for that particular EC2 instance. So if you remember, we didn't have any other Mac OS EC2s or Windows EC2s, so it would have skipped these commands, okay, these steps, but the second one would have run. So if I open this, what it has written: step execution skipped due to unsatisfied preconditions. Okay, this is because no Windows EC2s are existing. Same for the Mac OS also. Okay, because it is not existing. But if I open the output for this, you can see it includes some details. These are the results for the patches that are just applied on our EC2 instances. Okay, so this includes the patch group, if it's there, if it includes the patch baseline that is used. Okay, you can search, you can read all of this output. Okay, so where do we find the patch baselines? Let me show you all those things as well. Okay, this was like the patches have been applied, the run command has been executed in the backend when it patches. Okay, so if you are not clear like why run command, why I came here, because if you remember in the process I told, when it applies the patches, it do so with the help of run command. What is run command is basically it helps you to monitor and configure your EC2 instances remotely. Okay, you don't have to SSH, you don't have to use Bastion host if that's a Windows EC2, you don't have to use the RDP to connect to them. We didn't connect to our EC2s anywhere. It just used the run command in the backend in order to connect to those EC2 instance and configure all this, update all these patches that were required. Okay. So another thing that we have here is the patch baselines that I wanted to tell you. Okay, these are the patch baselines. You can check from here. Okay, dashboard is available. Okay. Then we have the compliance reporting, the steps that we were seeing. So this is with along with the inventory. Okay, then we have the patch baselines, which is available according to the operating system. So we can use this one, Linux 2, because we have chosen this operating system. And then you can check approval rules that are mentioned already here. Now this is the one that is already created. Okay, but if you want more control over how the approval rules are specified, what should be the patch exceptions, you can create your own baseline. That is also option there. Okay, you go there, patch manager, then patch baselines, then you can say create patch baseline. You give a name, you select the operating system for which you want to create the patch baseline, and then you specify the rules. Now this is just only when you want to create your customizations, you want more control. Otherwise you can go ahead directly use the predefined patch baselines. Then patch groups can be created. Okay, this is not the one that I created today. This is the one which I created earlier. Okay, this included a few instances and I used a predefined patch baseline for it. Okay, you can create a patch group by just selecting your EC2 instances that are being managed and click on actions. Let me see if I can show you here. Fleet manager and select them. Okay, patch the nodes. I think it is just taking us to patch now only. Let me go to the patch manager. Okay, patch baselines, if you select here, you can create, select this one, actions, and modify patch groups. So you just have to associate it with the patch group. Okay, just remove this and you click here, enter a new patch group name. Let me say test 1. You add it. So this will be associated with your patch baseline. Now what you have to do is just associate the same tag with your EC2 instances, like give the tag as patch group as a key, value as a test 1. Then they will be they will be associated with your patch group with this particular patch baseline. Okay, that is what you can do here. Now apart from this, we just have the inventory left. We will see what we can do with that. Once we understand what is inventory, then we will come back onto the console and see. So we have seen how the patches application on your operating system or on your servers can be automated. Next, we will collect the data from them using the inventory. But for that, let's go back to our slides and first understand what is inventory management on the Systems Manager. So this capability of Systems Manager is basically to provide the visibility into your AWS computing environment. You can use this to collect the metadata from your managed nodes, and it only collects the metadata. It doesn't collect any personal or proprietary data, so you don't have to worry about that. You can store this metadata in a central Amazon S3 bucket and then use the built-in tools to query the data and quickly determine which nodes are running the software and configurations that are required by your software policy and which node needs to be updated. Basically all the things that are running on your all the servers, all the managed nodes. Then you can configure inventory on all of your managed nodes by using just a one-click procedure. It is very easy. I will just show you in a minute that how it works. You can also configure and view the inventory data from multiple AWS regions and AWS accounts. And if the pre-configured metadata types collected by Systems Manager inventory don't meet your needs, then you can even create the custom inventory. It is simply a JSON file with the information that you provide and add to the managed node in a specific directory. So when the systems manager inventory collects the data, it captures this custom inventory data. For example, if you run a large data center, you might specify the rack location of each of your servers as the custom inventory, and then you can view the rack space data when you view other inventory data. So this can be another use case for it. Now the table describes the types of data that you can collect with the systems manager inventory. It also describes the different offerings for the targeting nodes and the collection intervals that you can specify. You can choose to inventory all the managed nodes in your AWS account, individually select the nodes or target groups of nodes by using the tags, like how I specified it in the patch manager. And you can specify a collection of interval in the terms of minutes, hours or days, that how frequent it should be collected. The shortest interval can be 30 minutes. Okay. And then when you configure the systems manager inventory, you also specify the type of metadata to be collected, the managed nodes from where the metadata should be collected, and also a schedule for the metadata collection. So these configurations will be saved with your AWS account as an AWS Systems Manager State Manager Association. Association is simply a configuration like how we have seen it in the patch manager when we were seeing in the demo. It also had an association ID. When I clicked on it, it took me to the state manager, if you remember. Similarly, when we configure the inventory, its configuration will also be stored as an association in the systems manager. Now this is how the inventory dashboard will be looking like. All the data that has been collected, it will be presented like this on the dashboard. So let's go ahead to the AWS console and see how does it work. Here are all my EC2 instances that are running already. So they already have the appropriate permissions because we gave the IAM role to them. Now in the systems manager, what we will do is we will just quickly go to the inventory and we'll collect the data out of it, all these instances. What we have to do, you can see right now in the inventory dashboard, there are no instances that are enabled for inventory. We will set up, okay. The name has been given inventory association, that's okay. Select all the instances that are managed in this account, specify using a tag or manually select. You can choose anything. Right now I'm manually selecting all of them, and then schedule. When do you want the inventory data to be collected? So you can specify 30 minutes, hours, days, whatever you want. Okay, so days you can change, minutes, hours. So let it be 30 minutes as of now. Then you specify parameters, that what particular metadata you want to be collected. Applications, any like what data you want to collect for the installed applications. If you want to collect the data for the network configurations for the AWS components. If you want to collect the data for about a file, specific file, you can specify the file path for that. Then for the Windows registry, it is applicable to Windows operating system only. Then you set up the inventory. So once this is done, it will start collecting the data. Okay, let me refresh. The inventory dashboard will also be updated. Okay, let's again refresh it. So in order to see that, soon it will be updated. Okay, let me first show you from the fleet manager. So you can see here half of them are enabled already. If we refresh, another also will be enabled very soon. Okay, so in the fleet manager, if we select a particular EC2 instance, and you can see all the details have come up here. Here only we will select the inventory, okay, the data that is collected for that. Okay, all the applications that are installed on them, because here it is selected as AWS application division. Okay, so all the applications that are installed on it has been displayed here. I can select anything else also, like any component. Okay, so you can see SSM agent is there. So apart from this, I can select file. I didn't specify. Network I can select because it was there. Okay, so you can see this data all has been collected from my EC2 instances with the help of inventory. This was so quick, right? Because all of that, we just set up the inventory with a click and it has collected all the data. Now this was about one EC2. If I go back, I can select any other EC2 instance. I can click on inventory, I can check the metadata for those instances as well. Anything that I want to check, I can check it from here. Okay, and this is how I can use this data. I can view the data, or maybe I can use this for further processes. Now this was like one thing, say that I have collected the data and I'm viewing it. Now if you want to send that data to S3, that also is possible, that after collecting this data, this should be sent to Amazon S3. Okay, so for that, what you can do, when you set up the inventory, there is an option. You click on this in the advanced section, you click on this sync inventory execution logs to an S3 bucket. So what you do, you specify a bucket name where you want it to be sent, and then you click on setup inventory. Okay, then it will be the execution logs will be sent over there as well. Okay, but anyway, if you don't want that, that is also okay. We will again click on inventory to see the inventory dashboard. So you can see the dashboard has been updated now. Enabled instances 4 and inventory coverage per type, what we are collecting from all the instances usually. Top 5 OS versions, since we just have the EC2 Linux instances as of now, so Linux is displayed here. And then applications, what are installed, top 5 applications that has been collected from the data over there, and services, whatever it is, and the corresponding managed instances. These are the ones from which the data is being collected. Okay, so this is how the inventory works. You can explore it more depending on your use cases, and you can send this data to S3 and you can use it for different purposes. Okay, so this way we have understood about the patch management and the inventory. Patch manager for automating the patches on our EC2 instances, inventory for just collecting the metadata from our EC2 instances from basically our servers. Now let's go back to our slides and understand a few use cases of it. We can use this to aggregate the data in a single console and gain the actionable insights across the AWS services such as the CloudWatch, CloudTrail, and config as well, and even the third-party tools. So this way the operational data can be centralized. Also, we can leverage the operational data to easily manage the applications and identify issues quickly across the associated AWS resource groups. Okay, and also we can automate the proactive processes such as patching and resource changes, as well as the reactive processes, which is to quickly diagnose and remediate operational issues before they affect any users. Also, we can adopt our security and compliance profile and analyze the security events after the fact to prevent a future reoccurrence. Okay, so that these events should not happen, we can just quickly remediate them. And if you want to see a few customer stories, you can go to this link and see how the patch manager, how inventory and other capabilities of systems manager are helping these companies. You can just search for it. Okay, let's see what capability this company is using. Let me quickly search for the patch manager. Yeah, so they are also using the patch management. Using Systems Manager, this company was able to find a highly automated, secure approach to solve the patch management, improve the visibility and control, and maintain security and compliance. So another company also, this is also Intercom, also is using the fully automatic patch management. And if I tell you about inventory, you can read about all of these customer stories in detail. It is available on this particular link. And if you read about them, how they are using inventory, how inventory has benefited this company Neurotech, let's read about it. So this management and governance tools of AWS are at the core of our security framework. And with Systems Manager, we have been able to improve visibility into the inventory of our AWS environment. Now we know exactly which AWS resources are being consumed by the development and application teams across our organization. Okay, so they are also using System Manager to automate the patch deployment process, you can see. Okay, and lot of things you can read about how it is helping, even not just for this but for any other services, to gain like more insights on what's happening. Okay, so that was mainly it about what we had for today's session. I hope you have understood about the Systems Manager basics, inventory and the patch management capabilities. Further things we will learn in the next video. Thank you.